Hello, welcome to Conjugal Bliss. I'm Dr. Priscilla Ashonibare. Thank you for joining us. We are going to be continuing a discussion on the topic adultery. Now, the subtopic of today is road and bridges to adultery road and bridges to marriage after adultery. Road and bridges to marriage after adultery. We've started talking about the fact that after the adultery, number one, the adulterer should be ready to admit and acknowledge that he or she was wrong. Okay? You should take responsibility for your action. Don't share the responsibility. Don't pass the blame. Don't say things like, I'm sorry, I cheated on you, but it was because you did not do it. Don't add any but to it. Take responsibility for the adultery. Let your spouse know that you are 100% sorry for the adultery. That's when healing can begin. And the second thing we said is that you have to break up totally with the third party, whosoever that person is, and not just stay off. No, maybe you can call the person, sit the person down, tell the person, maybe on the phone or physically, you know how you meet, tell the person that, sorry, I have to end this relationship. I want to go and make it right with my spouse. I'm sorry. I need to go and make things right with my God as well. Okay. Then after that, you have to be ready to be transparent, to be honest, to be consistent, and to give time for healing to take place. You have to empathize with your spouse because your spouse had gone through a lot. Shock, as a matter of fact, and all kinds of symptoms that your spouse would have gone through when he or she discovered that you were into adultery. So we also said that you should do what after that, you should now set clear boundary with the opposite sex. Set clear boundary. Don't linger around a particular opposite sex for a long time. Don't be seen giving ride to a particular opposite sex always, or riding the car of a particular opposite sex always. Remember, adultery starts with emotional adultery. Emotional adultery then can graduate to physical or virtual adultery. And we said adultery is when there is a bond between a married person with someone that is not his or her spouse. You will know when this is about to happen. So when you just see, as a matter of fact, don't put yourself in a situation where it will begin to happen. Okay. So you should make sure that you don't, no eating out when you travel, we will see you that regularly you are always going for lunch with this particular opposite sex. No, don't put yourself in that kind of a situation. We said when you travel, you should let your spouse know, this is my flight time. Okay, we've taken off. Okay, we have landed. I've checked into this hotel. This is the room of the hotel. It just makes you to be accountable. It is not control. It is not restriction. It is just like you trying to tell your spouse, I've got nothing to hide. I've got nothing to hide. And remember one thing, do all you can to prevent yourself from stepping over that line again. The first time it happened, okay, it will be easier for your spouse to forgive, but if it should happen the second time, that would be another thing entirely. And when on official trips, make sure that you are not seen with this particular opposite sex of a colleague of yours always. It will give other meanings. If you are lodged in a hotel and there's room service, they want to come and clean, tell them, leave the door ajar. Even your office, when any opposite sex is coming into your office and you are alone, leave the door ajar. Open the door. Don't close it. It helps. It protects you from being tempted. Okay. Give regular updates of your destination to your spouse as well. Boundaries will protect the marriage. Boundaries will protect the marriage, not restrict the marriage. Now, another thing that you need to do in order for there to be healing is you have to address the root cause of the adultery. You and your spouse sit down, talk about it. What went wrong? Um, was it communication between both of us that was not enough? Was it stress? Was it that we did not manage our time well? We didn't have time for each other? Was it emotional needs that were not met? You know, we already spoke about some of the reasons why adultery happen, will must have happened. Was it just due to carelessness? Like you said, sometimes people do not have intention of going into adultery, it just happened. Was it just due to carelessness? Go back and listen to the other episode where I spoke about reasons why adultery happened and some of the excuses people give for going into an adulterous relationship, so that you can go through that, talk, you and your spouse talk and say, okay, because if you do every other thing and you don't do this, it will be like you saying you want to get rid of a particular tree and all you do is to cut, no, trim, as a matter of fact, trim the leaves. No, you've not done anything. The even when you cut some of the branches, the tree will still grow again. If you don't want the tree in a particular place, you have to do what? Pull it out, root it out, uproot it from the root. So you have to know the cause of the adultery so that you can address it. If it is because of your relationship within you and your spouse, something went wrong, that was what happened, or because of you in particular. No, there's something about you, not even the relationship, that made you go into it. Okay. Then, after you have addressed the root cause of the adultery, then you can begin to rebuild. You can begin to rebuild intimacy gradually. Underline the word gradually. Okay, don't just try to say, oh, my spouse, okay, now that everything is fine, can you just come, let's continue from where we stopped. It is not easy. If the betrayed spouse asks for you to, do some things, to stay away from him or her, give the time, because remember, it is a trauma, so you have to give them time to heal. Intimacy should be something that should be consensual. Okay, consensual. That means if your spouse, after discovering that you've gone into adultery, now said, please, I don't want to be intimate with you, no, I don't want to make love, with you for some time, just give a little time. Because to the spouse is wondering, how could you go and do this thing with somebody else? So it's still affecting the spouse psychologically. Okay, so what you should do is you should try to reconnect emotionally first with your spouse. Try to reconnect emotionally first. That was what you did when you before you got married. Okay, you got to know each other, you got to reconnect emotionally, then gradually, just like the way the adultery started, from emotion, then gradually. So to rebuild your relationship with your spouse, you have to do what? You have to reconnect emotionally. Try to spend time to communicate, to be friends with each other first. Don't rush intimacy yet. Okay, let it come from the reconnection. When it comes from the reconnection, then the betrayed spouse won't be seeing it as an obligation. Okay, and another thing is sometimes the betrayed spouse will just go numb. Don't take that as if the betrayed spouse is punishing you. It's just that he or she may not know how to reconnect, to start again. That is why the betrayed spouse is going up. Just give time. Just give time. And what I want to say to the betrayed spouse is that forgiveness is paramount. You cannot but forgive your spouse. Remember when this woman was caught in adultery and She was brought to Jesus and they said, okay, according to the law of Moses, she was supposed to be stoned to death. So because she was caught in adultery, and Jesus said, okay, whosoever hasn't, if you are without sin, then cast the first stone. Yours may not be adultery, but there are some things that you've done and you're expecting God to forgive you, or you expected God to forgive you, and He did. And He told us, said, forgive us our sins as we forgive those who have sinned against us. Jesus told the woman, He said, go and sin no more. You are forgiven, go and sin no more. Can you find it in your heart? Find a place in your heart to forgive your spouse. Tell your spouse, I'm forgiving you. Go and sin no more. Yes, it is difficult. Yes, it is something that may be hard for you to just do. Yeah, it's hard for you. It's easy for you to say it, but to do it might be hard. But if you apply yourself and you ask God to help you, I know He will. Now, the adulterer should be patient. Okay, wait for your spouse to forgive you. Very important. It can take a week, it can take 2 weeks. I don't know how long it will take, but please, you, the betrayed spouse, as soon as possible, can you forgive your spouse, especially the one that is telling you, I'm sorry, I take the blame, it won't happen again. So remember, we have to forgive. You, the betrayed spouse, please, you have to forgive your spouse. And the adulterer, please give time, give time. Healing is not about going back to the normal, as I said. It is about building something that is healthier, safer, and more authentic than before. So it's going to be a gradual thing, but I know that you will get there. And to the betrayed spouse, I want you to work on rebuilding your self-worth, because discovering your spouse, going into adultery will have affected you. Am I not man enough? Am I not beautiful enough? What is it that I did not do that this man went out to look for? What is it that I did not do that this woman went out to look for? Avoid the self-blame. Walk towards healing. Talk to someone. Look for a couple that they're having stable marriage and are godly to mentor you at this time, or better still, go and get a marriage therapist to discuss this with, so that they can guide you to healing. Yes, it is painful. Yes, it is destabilizing, but the marriage can still work. It can still work. Once your faithful partner is ready to have integrity, to be transparent, honest, and accountable, to set boundaries. I know this can happen, and be able to prevent a repeated episode in the marriage. Talk to someone, redefine the marriage. Okay, start just like you were doing before, even better. Reestablish goal for your marriage, value, um, make time to be together, spend time together. I mean, quality time. It's very important, because as the way the world is right now, the husband is working, the wife is working, and when they come home, sometimes they even bring extra work home, so they don't have time for each other, or even the little time they have to spend with each other, they are spending it on the social media. No, you should have a time when you say, okay, maybe from 9 p.m., our phones are off. We have to focus on each other and talk, eat together, do things together. Try to be friends again. Spice up your marriage. That is what is important. Okay, now let's briefly talk about, when is it that separation is better? When an adultery has taken place. We've spoken about the fact that it's possible to heal, and I said yes. Now, when the answer is no, from a psychological and emotional health perspective, sometimes separation can be the best healing after an adultery, rather than trying to reconnect or heal the marriage, especially when the adultery is still going on, or when the adultery is repeated. One episode you forgave, two episodes you forgave, the third episode you forget, oh, then I think it is time for the betrayed spouse to put a halt to it. I'm not saying divorce. I'm not saying divorce. So don't get me wrong. Put a halt to the marriage. Okay, now just wait. Stay with me. Another reason why I would say that separation is better after an adultery is when the adulterer shows no remorse. Is not sorry for whatever he or she had done. Say, I went to adultery. So what? After all, it's human for people to go into adultery. Am I the first one? And okay, I've gone to adultery, then cut my head. No, if the spouse is not showing remorse, is not sorry, then separation is advised. Okay, because before you know it can bring HIV. A jealous spouse or that spouse that person is going through can come and deal with his own family. Or if you discover that this spouse, the adulterer, is always kept on lying, withholding information, vital information about his or her whereabouts, or the spouse is always overreacting and defensive. As a matter of fact, want to say it is because can I trust you? Are you not the first one who went into adultery when you did not? Okay, when there is physical and verbal abuse, the adulterer is physically and verbally abusing the betrayed spouse, and that person is not ready to change. So at that time, okay, when you start noticing this, then I will advise the betrayed spouse to separate. Move away from the marriage so that you can reassess the situation, and the adulterer too can be able to reassess his or her own life to know that, do I still want this person alive? Do I still want this marriage? Okay, because when people stay in such marriages, it affects their mental health, it affects their physical health, and it can even result in death. Yeah, HIV can come. The person outside, that means the third party, might want to look for a way to get rid of the wife at home, get rid of the husband of this person. And value and trust will be irreparable when there are several episodes of adultery in the marriage. Okay, because another thing is it might get to a level where the betrayed spouse will be preoccupied with thoughts of how to get back at the adulterer. That is not a good place to stay. There'll be thoughts of revenge. Now, that is not a good place to stay. Okay. And another reason why you should separate a bit from the marriage, if the adulterer is not repentant, is not ready to stop the adultery, or will stop one, get to another, stop one, gets to another, then you have to look for how to separate. Set boundaries. If the adulterer is not ready to set boundaries, then you have to look for how to separate from that adulterer. Separation is not revenge. Let me tell you, separation is not revenge. Separation is not failure, because that's why some spouses will stay in that environment where they are physically and mentally as well as verbally abused. Because they say, I don't want people to think I'm a failure. No, you are not a failure. And separation is not divorce. Okay. Separation is not also the end of the marriage. It is you getting out of an environment that is affecting you in every area of life, in order for you to be able to reassess your life, and also for the adulterer to be able to, reassess his or her life. Maybe that will help him or her to come back to his senses and see that, no, I can't leave my wife, I can't leave my husband. The person will not take you for granted anymore, because sometimes healing needs distance. Okay, let me come back. Healing to marriage after adultery sometimes requires distance before you can get direction of how to go about healing of the marriage. Now, should there be children in the marriage, they will also need emotional support. So as you are going to get a therapist for yourself, get therapists for the children. Remember, they would end up internalizing or externalizing the situation between their spouses. And if they're of age, carry them along. But if they are too young to understand, just let them know, yes, daddy and mommy are going through rough time. Our marriage is going through rough time, but it's got nothing to do with you. It is just between we, the adult. God hates betrayal, but gives room for forgiveness. So please, as much as possible, look for how to forgive the adulterer. Either you are going to reconcile and continue with the marriage, or you are going to separate because the adulterer is not ready, to stop the relationship, or is going from one to another adultery, and is not, being remorse about whatever he or she is doing. Then I would say separation is better. Remember, I'm not saying divorce. I say separation, so that both of you can reassess this situation from a distance. Okay, thank you so much for joining in. By the grace of God, the next time we come, we're still going to be discussing about adultery, but we are going to be discussing another subtopic. I believe that the Lord has now blessed you, and I pray, is there any marriage out there that have been hurt through adultery? I speak healing to the marriage, and I speak grace to the betrayed spouse to be able to forgive the adulterous spouse, and I pray grace for the spouse who went to the adultery to forgive him or herself and to be reconciled to the spouse, and for both of them to be able to rebuild a marriage that will be adultery proof in the future. And the marriages that have been able to resist adultery, I pray that the Lord will continue to help you, that your marriage will be adultery proof forever, in the name of Jesus. Thank you so much for joining me. Make sure you join me again, same time, same station, same day, next week. And I pray that the Lord will keep us all. And until I come your way again, God bless you.
Glad that I found you at the right time. You're running my mind. Oh no, it's been a long time. Oh, I've been searching for a long time.